the Bain Free Radio Hour.
Hello and welcome to the Bain Free Radio Hour. Today on the show, I'm joined by science fiction author and legend Sharon Lee to talk about her forthcoming novel, Diviner's Bow. We even managed to squeeze in a little talk about her lovely cats. After that, we bring you part 6 of the serialization of Mark Van Name's John and Lobo novel, One Jump Ahead. Hello and welcome to the Bain Free Radio Hour. I'm Griffin, Barber, your host. I'm here today to talk about the team of Sharon Lee and Steve Miller produced some of the most memorable science fiction of the past 30 years. From novels to shorts to chapbooks and novellas, Sharon and Steve have produced an expansive bibliography of thrilling adventures in the Liaden universe. Steve passed last year, but Sharon is carrying the story forward with Diviner's Bow, which we are here to talk about today on the Bain Free Radio Hour. Hello and welcome, Sharon.
Hi, Griffin. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. So the cool question I like to lead off with, I think you might recall it from previous interviews. What is the coolest thing for you about the Diviner's Bow?
Coolest thing for me about Diviner's Bow is that reasonable people tried to get together to solve something. They didn't just stand and scream at each other. They actually sat down and said, "Okay, how can we fix this?"
Very cool.
That is the coolest thing.
Especially in our current times, right?
Yes.
So a question about the titles of this arc of the Liaden universe. Am I correct? And I'm going to think that this is tied in with sitting down and trying to solve the big problem. Am I correct in assuming that it's something to do with dance?
Yes, it is. 3 books are what's an internal trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And the first book in this internal trilogy, which I've been calling the Patty O'Scallon trilogy, but feel free to say the Colomino trilogy or whatever else you want.
Right.
Starts with Trader's Leap. So we have a leap.
Yep.
And then the next book is Ribbon Dance, and we dance. And Diviner's Bow is we bow at the end of the dance.
Very cool. So yes, that's and is there going to be just the 3 in this particular arc or this trilogy?
Patty's going to show up again, but this is the last of the. I can't even say that. It's the trilogy, yes, the Patty trilogy.
Okay, good deal.
And Agent of Change was supposed to be a singleton, and we're now 27 books in.
Right. Well, that was one of the best ways that this was communicated to me through Eric Flint, but he said that Jim Bain's maxim is the best way to not get another book in your trilogy or whatever is to write your first book like it's a trilogy.
Right.
It has to be a discrete story. It has to, tick all the boxes for the readers before you're going to ever get an opportunity to write the second, the third, the fourth, the third, the 26th.
You've got to deliver on a satisfying ending, and people want to know more. We want to know more, but we've already ended this particular arc.
Yeah, and you have an enormous and vociferous group of fans that will let us know.
Yes.
I remember there was something about something with the cover on one of these, and they were like, they immediately notified you, and you were like, "Yeah, we got to change this."
Yeah, they watch out for us.
Very cool. But that's one of the neat things about having that long-term fan base that is comfortable approaching you and letting you know, right?
Well, we've had these people with us. Some of these people have been with us for 30 years.
Right. Very cool. So we have the Diviner's Bow, and I'm assuming that would be somehow having to do with the Oracle. Can you tell your fans more about the Oracle and their place in the star-spanning societies of the Liaden universe?
On Colomino, we have several factions. We have the civilized who live under a kind of a grid that helps them deal with the ambient conditions of the world. And the Council for Civilization employs an oracle to tell them what's going to happen, what things they need to look out for and plan for, which is kind of weird and crazy because Farseeing, being an oracle, is what's known as a wild talent, which is, we don't like those in civilization. They go live with the Hayosa off-grid. Um, so Ann Asta Westergrans, the Oracle for Civilization, lives in a building in civilization where she's shielded from everybody, and everybody is shielded from her,
Right.
and she foretells. And yeah, I thought that was going to happen. She has been doing this for quite some time. She's an elderly lady now, and she's thinking about retiring. And one of the things that's a maxim in the Lean universe is that foresight, being an oracle, is not, it's kind of squishy. I mean, I can say, I foresee tomorrow I'm going to have a tuna fish sandwich with lunch. But something might happen. A friend might call and say, hey, can we do lunch? And the tuna fish sandwich just goes away. So while all prophecies are true when they're seen, they're not true by the time we arrive at the point where the prophecy should take place,
They're not
because
immutable.
real life intervenes. Um, there aren't very many oracles in the Lean universe. There are some people with foresight, but this is on Colomino. This is the only place where it's formalized as something that we need in order to govern. Um, and the one of the problems in the book is that Anasta wants to retire, and another oracle has not arisen. And this has never happened before.
Wow.
When an oracle wears out or needs to retire or is about to die, a new oracle arises and there's continuity. Not this time. And her contention, which is not a bad one, is that a new oracle has not arisen because you guys don't need an oracle anymore. Um, and I'm retiring. I mean, you never needed really an oracle before, but we're tired of holding your hand. And I'm retiring. So part of the conflict comes when they say you can't retire. You can't retire. How can you retire? Um, so there's some separation anxiety there between, oh God, we're all going to have to do it ourselves.
Right.
Uh,
We're gonna have to plan for
we're
the
going to have to
future.
plan. We're going to have to look at things. We're going to have to talk to people
Right.
and figure out what they need. Um, so it's, I actually like Anne Astor's is a great character. She's
Very cool.
liked her a lot.
Is that modeled at all on the Roman Republic at all with the oracles and
Not that I know of,
or
because
the
I'm not a
Greeks?
student of the Roman Republic.
Because I know that they had, they literally had civil government positions for the oracle, and within the context, I'm not sure if it's actually the Romans or the Greeks. I think it might have been the Greeks. But
Right.
so
I
much
do
of
not know they had
of
actual. I know you would go to Delphi and consult.
yeah, and
Um,
so much of Roman culture was appropriated from the Greeks anyway. So
right.
it's always sometimes it's a little bit indiscreet, as it were. So what about this prophecy? Civilization ending? Just please say it ain't so. Without giving away too much, can we hear a
Well,
bit more about how she discerns the future rather than the what she's discerning?
the article, besides being able to see the future in some measure, is also a very subtle old lady, and she really wants to retire. Um, she wants to travel, and this has never happened. Colomino, the planet has been encased in dust for centuries and has just started to come clear, and she wants to get on a spaceship and travel and go places and see things. Um, and her last prophecy, the last one she gives, is civilization is going to end, and so are the Heyosa. That's it. I'm done. And the Heyosa are like, okay, that's cool, because the Heyosa tend to be a little laid back about such things, and they know better than anyone that oracles, one, lie, and two, for a foreseeing is subject to interpretation, and the other thing that we talked about is changing because it meets reality on the field, and one of them has to give.
Right.
Um, but civilization freaks out. Oh my God, we're going to civilization is going to end. How is that even possible? I mean, we've done all of this, and what are we going to do? Um, and she's basically not my problem. I foresee you guys do whatever you do.
Right.
Um,
I did my
and
job for many
they
years.
have.
I'm retiring. See you later.
I'm retiring. I am
I'm,
done. I'm reading my travel books. I'm
I'm
deciding
taking my
what I'm going
bow.
to do. And civilization has already bent so far as to allow on its council people who are deaf, which is to say they can't see any psychic phenomenon whatsoever. They're just normal people.
Right.
They're like you and me. And after a long time of the psychics and civilization trying to protect these poor deaf people, um, they have allowed one guy a seat at the table, and he is called the deaf counselor.
Mm,
Um, and he's not particularly worried about civilization ending. I mean, civilization hasn't been good for his people, and there's all this opportunity if things change. And the Hayos are like, okay, we'll take with a grain of salt. If civilization ends, it ends. We'll do something then.
right. S-
So civilization is sort of by itself freaking out. What are we going to do? And one of the things they decide to do, since the oracle has said, and the Hayos are going to end too, is say to the Hayos, we're going to offer you a seat at the table. And the Hayos say, hell no. Why would we do this? You guys have never wanted to hear from us, and civilization has some patching to do. Yes, we want to hear from you now.
right.
Um, and part of that is that ongoing problem is one convincing the Hayos that they really need to be part of this solution that we're going to figure out, and getting the regular people to agree that after centuries of the Hayos are over there, and we call them wild talents because they're scary,
Right.
and they directly interface with the ambient, and us, the people who are in control and who know how to use tools to use our talents, convincing them that it's a good thing to talk to the Hayasa and build a solution that will serve both.
Right. And then bring everybody to the table.
You're right.
Neat. Neat. I like it. That's a very cool idea. And like I said, timely, I think, for people to try and consider that, hey, screaming at people doesn't do any good for the
Too
actual
many people
problem.
only makes people mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might make you feel better, but it doesn't help the actual problem.
Well, it doesn't actually make you feel better either. I mean, you scream
Yeah.
at somebody and then you're exhausted.
Yeah. True. So, which character or characters from Diviner's Bow would you most want to meet?
Actually, Blaze. I think Blaze is wonderful. She really turned out well. I mean, you say these things, writers say that character turned out well, but she did. Um, she's a wild talent from way in the outback. She doesn't have the people who live in Ribbon Dance Village, who are the Hayes that we dealt with in Ribbon Dance, um, are next door to civilization. They kind of, okay, we have a sort of a relationship here. But where Blaze is from, it's on the edge of the world as far as anybody's concerned. They don't deal with civilized people. And she has to step in and deal with civilized people and adjust herself and not be angry.
Right.
Again, not be angry, to say, okay, we can make a solution, we can solve this. We don't have to kill people, we don't have to hit people with benches. Um we can there's some other way to come to this.
Right.
So she changes, and the fact that she accepts that change is possible is really admirable.
Cool. And did you model her on anybody in particular or any historical figure?
No, she's well, a little bit, and now I'm going to forget her name. Margaret Chase Smith,
Okay.
um,
Neat.
who is, a main saint. So
Very cool. So, which character would you want to avoid like the plague and why?
I would want to avoid Veer. Veer has some problems. He's been he's a civilized man who has been thrown way out of his wheelhouse. Um, and the civilized like to pretend that they like to well, they're in charge. They know how to build tools. They know how to control things. That's their whole image of themselves. But they can't stand out from under this grid that's been built for them to shield them. They can't just stand out in the world like the Hayes would do as it burns up their talent. Um, and Veer is a man who has been raised under grid and then been introduced to the wild, and he's having to cope with the fact that he has no filter now. And his talents may burn brighter, but they're burning. Um, he's a very dangerous person in my estimation.
And he is negatively predisposed towards the Wilders and Hayden.
Well, he's civilized. If he thinks about it at all, he just those people are
Yeah,
those people aren't my people.
yeah, that says it right there. Those people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. So, which character would you like as now? I'm going to suspect it's going to be Blaze, but maybe not.
Please, actually, Major Theogorn, Major Theogorn, the deaf counselor, because he's not a dummy. He's politically very astute. Um, he's smart, and he's not. Well, he is afraid of some things, but he's not afraid to go forward and to look for solutions. I mean, he's a smart man. I like him. Um,
Doesn't let his fear prevent him from getting the job done.
right, right.
Very cool. So, you had a brief interruption there from one of your cats. Now, this is one of the things I know about you all. This is that you're in Maine and you enjoy your Maine Coon cats. What's the number at now? And can you give us a rundown of their names? Are there any of them inspiration for characters in the Maine universe?
They're coon cats. Um, I have 4 Maine Coon cats at the moment. I have Trooper, who is our patriarch. He is 15. I have then Firefly, who is next eldest, and she is just turned 5. So for a Maine Coon cat, she's now mature. Um,
Wow.
and we have Rookie, well, Rook. I named him after the rook in your chess set. But that quickly became Rookie because, yeah, he is the rookie. Rookie came to me as a kitten last year. Um, it's and he's huge. He's already bigger than everybody else in the house. I'm gonna have a leopard who's gonna carry my backpack for me. And Tally, who just came to us, Tally is named after a character in the League universe. Her real name is Talizea. Her call name is Tally, and she just came to me about 2 months ago, and
Wow.
she's still figuring stuff out.
Yeah, I bet.
She's about 2 years old.
Wow. And they're relatively sedate, right? Or
They just want to be where you are and sit with you. If you're sitting and reading, they'll sit next to you, and you can read, and they'll sleep. And if you're watching TV, they'll watch TV with you. And they're called the dog lovers cat.
yeah, certainly for size. I,
Well, that too.
I can't
Um,
imagine what a Maine Coon of those dimensions of them laying on a keyboard like kittens often like to do.
well, I have bendy keyboard,
Ah, there you go.
so he can't really do too much to me. But he can sit on my lap, and then I have to
Yeah,
type over him.
reach over him. Yeah. Well, very neat. Thank you for that little insight into the home life. So, penultimate question: what, aside from raw entertainment value, do you hope readers will carry with them long after reading Diviner's Bow?
Once again, we're better when we help each other. And as always, I'm trying to think of any one of our books that did not explore what does it mean to be human. Um, and those people is really not a useful construction in almost all cases. So those are the things we've been, preaching it for 30 years.
And getting through to people. That's the
I
good
hope
thing.
so, I hope so.
So, last question here today on the Bain Free Radio Hour. What conventions can your fans hope to catch up with you at, and what other work can we look forward to from you?
Well, I'm going to Balticon in May, May 23rd to 26th in Baltimore, Maryland, my hometown. And I'm going there to receive the High Moon Award for the
Very cool.
Lead Universe.
Well
Um,
deserved.
so that will be exciting. There's a new short story on splinteruniverse.com about the Heyosa, which is free for anyone to read. And I'm working on the next book after Diviner's Bell. Um, and it follows one of the characters from Diviner's Bound back to Tinsori Light. So it ties in to Salvage Right.
Oh, great. I look forward to that because I did like those characters as well. All right. Well, thank you very much. I very much appreciate your coming with us today on the Bain Free Radio Hour, Sharon. We very much appreciate your time, and hopefully this will actually be out. The book's already out, right?
The book's already out,
Yeah, the
April
book's already
1st.
out. So this will be out on the 11th, I believe, and we'll be putting it up there on wherever you get your podcasts, and also on Rumble as well, so you can actually watch the video of our charming faces. All right. Well, take care. Thank you very
Thank you so
much.
much.
And now, as promised, one jump ahead. John Moore is a nanotech-enhanced soldier of fortune. Lobo is an AI, a living weapons and intelligence platform of enormous destructive potential. Two very dangerous wolves in a galaxy of deadly corporate and paramilitary predators. But Moore has grown weary of the killing, and just once he'd like to finish a job without leaving a trail of blood behind him. Not going to happen. Not on a pristine planet called Mackin, where two gigantic corporations vie for control of the local jump gate and access to the riches of an undeveloped world. Dealing with a kidnapping and extortion scheme is only the beginning for Moore and Lobo as they work to stay one jump ahead.
What you're built to do is fight, I said, my own memories fueling the unexpected anger in my voice. Fighting leads to death and destruction, either yours or somebody else's, and eventually, no matter how good you are, yours. Ah, another veteran? Yes, I understand, but it is what I was built to do. It is what I do, or at least it is what I should be doing. Not being an ornament left behind on the off chance they might someday need me again on this entirely too peaceful planet. I pushed back the memories that had triggered the rush of anger. If Lobo wanted to fight, fine. So talk to your owners. Surely you can communicate with them. I tried. When Mackin joined the Frontier Coalition, the Coalition did not want to invest what it would cost to fix me, so they loaned me to Glenn's Garden. The mayor wants to keep me, in case they one day need me. Speaking of the city and the peace on this planet, what can you tell me about the gardeners? I held up my hands, instantly feeling foolish that I was gesturing to a machine. Some habits are hard to break. I know I have nothing to offer you now, but I can honestly tell you, one veteran to another, that if I can find a way to help, I will. That's it, though. That's all I have that might be of value to you. After a few seconds, a pause long enough that I wondered how much processing power a machine like Lobo could bring to bear in that period of time and what he was doing with it all, he said, "Fair enough. One veteran to another. The Gardeners are an anti-corporate, anti-development group headquartered in the rainforest a few clicks from here. They claim to support the coalition government, but not its expansion goals. A truly stupid statement as near as I can tell from watching human politics. I watch them, along with most of the rest of the humans on this planet, with surveillance drones I launch from the shuttle station and with the help of some satellite friends willing to trade their ground monitoring images for land gossip. I am still a part of the local security systems. I swear I heard pride in his voice. The gardeners have weapons, but nothing serious. Simple handguns, knives, and other gear I would never worry about. Why do you care about them? Just business, I said, then corrected myself. Possible business. The kid was back watching me from Lobo's far corner. A few more children had joined him. I didn't feel like dealing with them or the parents one of them was eventually bound to bring. Besides, I was on a deadline. I need to move on, I said. I'll stop by later if I think of anything. It was good to meet you. I shall be here, he said, and I swear I could feel the frustration in his voice. As I was passing the main government building on my way back around the perimeter of town toward my house, a man stepped out of the front door and into my path. Dressed in a tropical suit, he must have chosen to convey casual authority. He reeked of petty bureaucracy. An entirely average-looking guy, the top of his head about level with my chin, body tending to plump. He was notable largely for his inability to be still, and the fact that, though he was clearly striving for calm, he oozed unease. "Mr. Moore," he said, "I'm Justin Barnes, the mayor of Glenn's Garden and the neighboring settlements. I was wondering if we could talk." "About what?" I said. I neither felt nor saw anyone supporting him, so he was unlikely to be a threat. But he still annoyed me. I don't like being braced by a stranger, much less by two in the same day. At least Slake had come to my house and offered me something for the trouble. "I'd love to discuss that," he said. "But first, let's go inside, where we can talk in private." I definitely had to leave town soon. No one had visited me the entire time I'd been on this planet, and now a government official was recruiting me in the street. I tried to look on the bright side. More information is always good. Sure. I followed him to the top floor and down a corridor to his office, a corner room with a great view of the town and the ocean beyond it. Floors of a deep brown wood, walls of a lighter version of the same, and displays of Mac and promotional videos on the walls that lacked windows. Some things, including the offices and views of power-craving bureaucrats, never change. Armed with a glass of water and seated in his chair, Barnes looked much more comfortable than he had outside. I sat in a padded wooden chair on the other side of his desk and waited. "First, thank you for coming in." I sighed. "Please, stop. No niceties, no chit-chat, just get to the point, or I can leave. Your choice." He put down his water and tried to sit taller. Fair enough, fair enough. As you might imagine, visitors like you don't come here all that often." That damn advance payment, I thought. Make a mistake once, pay many times. "So, of course, I looked into your background, and, as I'm sure you know, you don't have much of one, at least as far as our records go. That alone says a lot. The fact that Ron Slake visited you this morning says more. That he was clearly not satisfied when he left tells me the rest. He wants your help, and you haven't decided to give it to him." Lovely. Now I had to worry about both Slake and Barnes monitoring me and becoming threats. "Is there a reason you're telling me this?" Barnes was brighter than he appeared, but I saw no reason to make this easy for him.
This has been the Bane Free Radio Hour. Thanks for joining us at the heart of science fiction. Join us next week for part 7 of One Jump Ahead by Mark Van Name. Don't miss our next interview when Haley Greger interviews Robert Hampson on Across an Ocean of Stars, his novel set in John Ringo's Black Tide Rising universe. Score by Ruth Judkowitz.